for those clients that understand some pretty solid strategies already, how they're structure their business, writing off their family members,
Mhm.
if they're working for them, wondering what additional things am I going to be learning? How can they know that we have more answers for them?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the things they need to realize is, are they actually doing those strategies right? Because
Hmm.
every strategy we implement, we're doing it by IRS court cases that have determined what would have made their position successful. And same thing with the just tax law itself. So they could say, yeah, I've already hired our kids. Okay, well, is it reasonable compensation? Did you document their positions and what they do? And where is that documentation, right? So that's one of my concerns when somebody comes already like with some strategies that they think they have in place. The last thing I want is any client to get into an audit or get into a high stress situation because they did their strategies with not the best information available to them. And
Hmm.
then in addition to that, yes, there is more to peel. You as you look at those strategies, for example, we have a guy who we just started working with, and he's done an S-Corp, he's doing the 401k, he's hired his kids. So now there's like these additional things. So one of the things he wants to do is rent out his current home and buy a new home. But then he was also fascinated with short-term rentals. So we're kind of peeling the onion there
Yeah.
and saying, okay, well, how long do you want to hold that your current house? He's like, well, to be honest, the HOA is annoying. And we asked him, was like, why don't you convert that to an Airbnb and save yourself the cash flow? And he's like, well, the HOA wouldn't allow it. So we have to do some more digging and say, okay, well, guess what? You can hold that property for an additional year or two and sell it, rent it out in the meantime, and still sell it tax free and use that cash flow to acquire your Airbnb. So there's
Hmm.
there's a lot of chess pieces to move when you're planning. The other thing was he wasn't taking full advantage of his 401k. And so he was putting a little bit in there and not realizing you're not even hitting the limitation. So let's push the envelope more as far as the amount of savings we can maximize. Now, some people would say, well, you didn't implement that strategy. It's like, yes, but you weren't utilizing it to its fullest.
Hmm.
So we look at those opportunities as well, in addition to layering other strategies. For this guy, he'll be a great candidate for, I think, additional defined benefit pension plan strategies. It really just depends on the person and what they want to do. But we have to balance cash flow with, those strategies so that we're not saying, hey, put all your cash in here and then something bad happens and now they don't have that cash available.
Right.
So it's a balanced approach, but I think they'll find peace of mind, clarity, and a clear path to mitigating their tax in a legal way.
Yeah.